Hello, sewing and non-sewing friends. So I'm getting ready to work on another project, but I just wanted to show on this jacket that I made with the fringe that I made. I want to zoom in to show you the beads. Let me see if I can get on this side. They're not very flashy. They're very subtle, but I did hand sew beads every 2 inches all the way around this trim. Isn't it lovely? Okay, let me show you my shirt. Okay, here she is. And this here is McCall's 7838. And if I can find a picture. There it is. And I am working on view B, which is this top right here, but it's with this bottom, so it's not cut off at the bottom like that. It's swooped at the bottom, but it has those puff sleeves. And so here is the sleeve. I could back up some. I find it absolutely adorable, and I want to show you how I made it, but let me give you, here's the pleats underneath it. Let's see if I can give you a side view. And I haven't done the sleeves yet. I think I'm just gonna hem them. Oh, don't ignore the spray paint on my hand. Okay, let's get to make. Okay, let me make sure that we have a good view of everything. So here's the pattern for the sleeve, and it has all these markings up here, and it looks confusing, but it's really simple. And what it is so these are different sizes. Let me get up here. These are different sizes: size 14, 16, 18, 20, 22. And so each of the dots represents different sizes. So when you're looking at this, you just focus on the dot for your size. So I'm doing a size 16. So this is the dot, this is the line, this is the dot 16. Here's the middle dot of 16, and here's the other dot of 16. So what I do to make life easy, is when I cut out my pattern, so say this is, let me make sure what side I'm on. Okay. So I lay my pattern out here like so. And then I grab a pin, grab the pins, and I kind of put it in all the 16 dots. 1, 2, there's a 6, so there's the 3 dots. And then I turn it over here, and then I mark the dots with my chalk pen. So I've already done those. I don't want to, yep. So it didn't match up because this is actually the other sleeve. So I have my dots here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my pen, my chalk marker here, and I'm going to find my dots, and I'm just going to line them. I'm going to line them up to make sure that everything, I'm going to draw a line from my dot all the way up to the edge. So here's one side right here. You can see. There it goes. And so I think I have clips on the ends of all of these. So I'm just going from dot all the way up to the edge. That all the way up to the edge. Got one right here, up to the edge. Got one right here, up to the edge. And I'm sure I'll miss some of them, but what I'll do is I'll just line up my pattern Go back and find them babies. Alright. So I'm going to check, make sure I have all of my lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Nope. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, I'm missing some. Here goes here. Here is, line it up again because I can't remember anything worth anything. So I forgot one of my markings. I'm going to get my pen. I forgot this one right here. Yay! I'm going to go ahead and draw that one here. I'm going to go up and draw another one here. Draw that line. And I'm missing one more. I'm missing one more over. Okay. Goes to that cut line. There. You probably can't see them, but I have green. It's a green line because it's a green chalk pencil. So to get these pleats, because you have to fold everything on the outside, but I want my chalk marking on the inside, because if you're a beginner, I'm not a beginner, but I like to mark my markings with chalk, but I need to be able to see what's going on the outside. So what you do is, starting from this first line here, I'm going to not close it because it has to be on the outside. So what I'm doing is I'm just going to put some what's this stitch called again? Basting stitches. I'm just going in and out, large stitching. So what this is going to do is going to allow me to see my lines on their outside. So I'll get back to you in a minute. Okay, I'm moving all my stuff out the way. So I have my basting stitches in. I'm going to turn it to the right side and I can see all of my stitching. Okay, so we're going to end up with 5 pleats. So what I do, I'm going to get my pins, and it's a long process, but I like to do things slow and I like to take my time. Oops, sorry. And some people probably just put pins in it and fold it and baste it and be done with it. But I'm just doing this so you kind of understand how the sleeve, the construction of the sleeve. So starting with the first one, we're going to fold it. We're going to grab it, fold it, and we're going to bring it to the second line, and I'm going to pin it. And then I'm going to grab the third line and bring it to the second. I'll put a pin in there. Okay. Now we're on to the next line. We have the pleat here. That's one. We're going to take this line, bring it, line it up with the next line, pin it, and then bring the next line and bring it in to meet in the middle, make them kiss, and pin it. That's 2. Now we're going to create our third one. Take this line, fold it in to the middle line, and pin it. Where's my pin? There it goes. Take the next line, bring it in to kiss, pin it, Here's 3. Take our line, bring it in to the next line. I'm just going to pin it in place, pin it, then take the next line, fold it, and bring it in to make it kiss. Make it kiss. Okay. Ouch, I just pinched myself. I'm just turning my fabric so that I can work with it. And this is going to be our last one. Get the edge, take that line, bring it here. I'm going to pin it. And our last line, bring it here to kiss. And pin it. And there we have the sleeve. So what I am going to do is I am going to now take a single thread and I am going to just baste along the edge here. Because I'm just going to just in and out. Just when I take this to the machine, I do not want I don't want any of the pleats in the back folding on me. So I'm just putting this in here to keep everything nice and flat. Just as a precaution. You don't have to. I'm not even taking my pins out yet. I'll keep the pins in here. I'm just going in and out. In and out. I'll go ahead and... Alright. Go ahead and cut that. There. Now when I look on the other end, see, I just want to keep all this flat. I'm going to put a pin here because see how that turned? I don't want to sew. I don't want to baste this with this turned. Just want to make sure you keep everything nice and even. And then pin it. So I'm checking under. Okay. So I'm going to take this to the machine and I'm just going to line up my presser foot with this edge and I'm just going to stitch right across this edge. Okay, I've done my stitching. I'm going to go ahead and take all my pins out. You have busy fabric, you just slightly go like that, make sure all the pins are out. So now I'm going to take it on the other side. I'm going to take all of my the thread that was marking my fold lines for my pleats. I'm going to go ahead and take them out. Because I don't want to fuss with them when I put my sleeve in my arm's eye. I'm leaving that one across there because I don't want any of those threads to move on me. So I'm going to keep that top one in. Oh, this is my thread. Don't want to get rid of that. Okay. So here's the sleeve. Still see some of the lines underneath there. I have a stitch right here just to hold everything together. So now I want to close up my seam. Because I don't want to deal with the seam allowance and have to finish it whenever I put my sleeve on, I'm going to enclose it. And what I like to do, well, what I did as a beginner, because you got to make sure you're only using 5/8 of a seam allowance. Is I take a pencil, I mark my 5/8 of seam allowance, about 5/8 of an inch, 5/8. I'm just going to mark a line there so I can see it on that side. 5/8 right here. I'm marking on that side. Actually, I'm going to mark it on the inside too. Okay, so normally when you sew, you want to take your right sides together and sew, and then you would finish your seam either by serging it, pinking it, zigzag stitch, but I want to enclose my seam. I want it to wrap around itself. So this is called a, I think it's called a French seam. I like it. So wrong sides together, or your insides together, I am going to go ahead and pin it, making sure that my notch right here are matching. And then I'm going to go down to the cuff area and I'm going to pin it. And I'm going to put one more pin in it, and I am going to sew about 3/8 of an inch down here. I think it's 3/8 of an inch. We'll see when we come back. Don't sew yet. Please hold. Okay, so I have and it is 3/8 of an inch. So I went ahead and just gave this a quick press to set my stitches. I'm going to take my shears and I'm going to cut this as close as I can to the stitch line, being careful not to go near the stitch line. So I want to say this is probably 1/8 of an inch. It's more than half that I'm cutting off. Let me see if I can get up here and show you where. So here's my stitch line right here. I am cutting right along there. You can see that with the shadow. So that's how much I cut off. And so now remember, this is the outside of the sleeve. So now you have this little tiny seam. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this inside out. Now this is where you go back and say, oh, right sides together. So it's just one little extra step. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to press this, and then I'm going to fold. I'm going to press it flat, and then I'm going to fold it with my seam right on top, and then I'm going to press it, and then I'm going to go ahead and stitch. And remember, this is where I drew that line on the outside and on the inside. I don't know if you probably can't see. Let me see if I can get you to see. See, there's the lines there. They're together. And that is going to be a 1/4 of an inch stitch line right along there. And what that's going to do is that is going to close up that seam, and close up the seam. It's going to hide the seam on the outside. It's going to give you a nice clean inside finish, and you don't have to worry about cleaning up your seam, your edging, seam allowance, edging, trim, edging, whatever it is. So that is what I'm going to do, and I'll be right back. Okay, and here is, I'm going to go ahead and first let me cut off my thread tails at the top and at the bottom. And there is that enclosed seam that's going to be on the inside of the shirt. Isn't that lovely? So So now I'm taking my shirt, my sleeve, not my shirt. This is the sleeve, right side out. And there's the sleeve. Here's the top. This is the arm. This is the shoulder. This is the underarm. And then here is the sleeve. Not the sleeve, the cuff. Oh my goodness, I'm messing up my words. Okay, and I'm not going to show, yeah, we're at 18 minutes now. But to get it on, there's really, you don't have to do any type of, still keep my stitches. I'm keeping those basting stitches in there until I'm ready to, till it's all the way on there. But there's not a lot, you don't have to do any easing stitch. You just kind of go in there, and you might have to, you could ease it in with your hands by, just, pinning it. It'll go right in. And then I take it to the serger and finish it up. And then you could kind of, here's the sleeve. Here's the inside of my sleeve. And then you can see that the actual sleeve, let me take the blouse right side out. So here's the inside of the sleeve. I did the same thing with my sides. This is the shoulder. It's the back of the shirt. Red thread everywhere. So that is how you that's how you make the sleeve for McCall's 7838. I hope that was helpful. Don't run away from pleats. Thanks for watching, y'all.